There have been stories of Somalis, threatening to kidnap any South African that opens up a spaza shop.
Mazwi Kubega presented himself at the Vosloorus police station last night. He went missing a month ago, on the day he went to pay rent for his spaza shop.
Government to deport all illegal foreigners by June 30. There's going to be a lot of crime.
Yes.
But there'll be a lot of crime on June 29, June 28, July 10. The border control is dead.
This is the Political Show.
Hey, and welcome to the Political Show right here on Active FM, where radio has never been better. I'm your girl Cynthia, but you can call me Gix, and with me in studio we have
Gavin Ensslin.
Pastor Gavin Ensslin, right here on the Political Show, where Christ politics is
Hot politics.
Hot politics. And this week's Hot Politics, we are speaking about June 30, a new important date in South Africa. Well, I don't know how important it is. Well, it is quite, it's in the air. It's
Well, it's a date.
Yeah, it's a date that everybody's talking about.
And it's been
in South
expressed
Africa.
at a press conference.
Yes. I know I know family members. I know people who are taking this day very, very serious from a foreigner point of view. Pascal, do you want to give a more brief explanation? What is June 30?
Yeah, well, the March and March organization, which obviously has risen up out of the dissatisfaction that many South Africans have with the ongoing saga of illegal immigration in South Africa. And their leader issued a demand for the government to deport all illegal foreigners by June 30 or else. That's basically what they said. So obviously now there are messages going out about the or else, and that's what we're going to discuss today. Is June 30 the end of the world for foreigners living in South Africa?
Yes, that is what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be awesome. As always, right here on the Political Show, where Christ politics is
Hot politics.
Hot politics. Overview in terms of June 30. So a deadline on the 30th of June 2026. I have a sibling's birthday on that day, and I think it's the Congo Independence Day.
Is that why?
Yeah, it's Congo Independence Day.
The founder of March and March is Jacinda Ngobesi Zuma. So she declared that deadline.
Yeah. So it has been publicly set by anti-illegal immigration groups, and the deadline calls for undocumented.
More specifically March and March.
Yeah, more specifically March and March. And it calls for undocumented foreign nationals to leave South Africa by the 30th of June 2026. And these demands are
not quite for them to leave, for the government to deport all undocumented immigrants, and those immigrants and for those immigrants to voluntarily vacate the country.
Yes. And the government has warned that there is no mass expulsion order that exists, and any form of violence or vigilantism will not be tolerated. And this date has raised concerns about potential protests, social unrest, xenophobic violence. I mean, we've even seen recently that 300 Ghanaians were taken back, were sent, basically voluntarily went back to Ghana.
I think that was a publicity stunt.
I also think, I remember when I saw that headline, I was like, 300 so fast. They just spoke about this, and all of a sudden they gathered 300 people.
Where does the government send a Boeing to come and fetch their citizens?
Yeah, I also agree. I think that was a publicity stunt as well. But when we look at the background, this issue has escalated because these are some of the reasons that are being spoken about, saying that there's been economic pressures. South Africa faces very high unemployment rates, especially with the youth, and slow economic growth. And the pressure here is that undocumented migrants take jobs at lower wages. But I'm not sure, did you hear the speech that Julius Malema gave with regards to this?
Yes.
Yeah, where
he's going to lose a lot of votes.
Yeah, where he he was speaking to a group of South Africans, basically saying that listen, 300 Ghanaians went back to their nation. You show me the 300 jobs that have opened up to South Africans since these 300 Ghanaians went back. So one of the reasons that this is escalated is that they're saying that the undocumented, and I don't know, yeah, that's just my personal opinion as a foreigner, but they're saying that undocumented migrants take jobs at lower wages. Employers exploit migrants to bypass labor laws and increase pressure on public services such as healthcare, housing, and education. Now, the government challenges with this is that the government acknowledges illegal immigration is a real issue in South Africa, and that border control and documentation systems have weaknesses.
Weaknesses?
Yeah, that's what they believe in.
Weakness is something that's alive.
Yeah,
The border control is dead.
it is.
There is no border control.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just want to mention that about the jobs. Okay, the people are not complaining about the jobs. They're complaining about people without documentation coming in and taking over what they call the township economy. And not only that, there are groups that actually threaten South Africans and say, you cannot run a spaza shop. Now, a spaza shop is a small informal shop that's almost like a little supermarket in a hut type of thing for people who are not in South Africa. Everyone in South Africa, I think, knows what a spaza shop is. In the old days in South Africa, we used to know it as the corner cafe. And I mean, there have been stories of Somalis, threatening to kidnap any South African that opens up a spaza shop.
Yeah.
And it's these kind of things and total lawlessness that are causing these problems. Now, as to Julius Malema speaking about the economic problems, Julius Malema is one of the people that is responsible for the economic problems and the lack of job growth. It's because our government is led by Marxist philosophies. The EFF is Marxist, the ANC is Marxist, MK is to a degree Marxist, and I believe also the DA is Marxist. And, government can't come along and control everything and make sure that there's jobs for everyone. And so the economy is stagnant. They've got BBBEE policies, that's black economic empowerment, broad-based black economic empowerment, and this is stifling business. There are horrendous labor laws. Gigs, even from work that we've gone into, in terms of trying to qualify people at a diploma level, tertiary diploma level, giving them an education in software development and stuff. The amount of red tape that you've got to go through, all of these things, all right, they kill business people. They kill business. The other thing is that Julius Malema says, no, they're being exploited by business, the foreigners. But the reality is there's many South Africans who work below minimum wage. It's not just the foreigners. There are so that statement is a lie. South African labor is cheap labor by itself. Right? There's so many people without jobs, you can pay people peanuts and they'll work for you. In spite of all the labor laws and minimum wage acts and all of that kind of stuff. So, even when I listen to him and I listen to all of these guys, their heads are in the clouds, man. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And they're not talking the reality on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And in terms of the actions that they say they have taken, this is now in terms of the government, that there's been increased deportation and policy discussions on tightening immigration systems.
So there was another thing that was said.
Yeah.
They said that there's no magic switch to just unilaterally deport people. Okay, the law of South Africa says if they arrest someone that has no documentation, and this is something that first got corrupted through bribery and has just absolutely fallen apart, is that there's a place called Lindela.
Yep.
The person is immediately, they're supposed to be arrested into a police station, released from there to Lindela, and from Lindela they're supposed to be deported. That is the law. So when they say there's no mass deportation button or something like that, they're lying.
Yeah.
Okay, they haven't been following the law for years. They shut down border. We have no border defense. People can just come through fences, come across. I mean, I've heard Americans complain about the Rio Grande, and the way that Americans were coming, or undocumented foreigners were coming into America. Man, I wish that our border was as secure as the American border was under Joe Biden. Okay, I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I think that would be a major improvement.
Yeah. And then what's this policy? They say there's policy discussions in terms of tightening the immigration systems. They've also.
But they're tight. I mean,
Yeah.
on top of this, gigs, even as a foreigner, you're upset with the immigration system
True, yeah.
because they're not renewing people's papers. The Home Affairs, and it's the damn government.
And
They're rendering people illegal.
and they're losing people's files as well. If we have to
Losing
really
it.
go into
Are we going to
detail.
say they're losing it or they're throwing it away?
One of the two, and now you're having a whole lot of people who are here legally, who started off legally, but are in a position where they seem to be an illegal immigrant or undocumented immigrant, and it's not their fault. It's that they went to go through the normal process and their file just disappeared, and in order for it to reappear, there has to be some sort of bribery or all
As
of
one
these
person
things.
said, encouragement.
Encouragement.
You've got to encourage them to do their jobs.
You got to speak to them nicely, maybe over lunch or something
But
like that.
meantime, they're being paid by the taxpayer to do the job.
Exactly. So, so now through this, there are debates whether the government is doing enough in terms of the illegal. Now, we're not saying on the podcast,
who's
we're not
the
saying.
debate between? I mean, I know the government's saying they're doing enough. But who else is saying the government are doing enough?
It's between the government and the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, both South Africans and the foreigners living in South Africa are saying the government's not doing their job.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong?
No, you're not. So whether the government is doing enough and how immigration impacts the economy as well. And through this, there's obviously been social tensions. A lot of people are speaking about the fact that South Africa has a history of xenophobic violence. We look at the incidences in 2008, 2015, and 2019.
Can I dispute that?
Yeah.
South Africa has a history of the government not doing its job. And then tensions within the populace boil over. And there are 400 members of parliament who are solely responsible for this. We wouldn't have this situation because South Africans, by and large, are very welcoming of foreigners.
Yeah.
Okay, but the thing is, the government doesn't do their job. Home Affairs messes around, and the next thing, the whole thing ends up in a mess. And so now people are saying we're sick and tired of this government, and that's a key message. Even if you listen to Jacinta Ngobesi Zuma, she's slating the government. She's blaming the government, and their deadline is actually around the government doing their job. So and this is a huge area. There's so many other things where the government's not doing their job. I mean, if you look at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry into the disaster that's the South African police services, people are very, very unhappy with the South African government in this country.
Yeah. And obviously this has brought about some tension, mainly in terms of like the foreign community. I mean, if you go on social media, you would swear that South Africa is in the midst of a civil war, in terms of the videos that have been surfacing. And some of these videos you can tell are old videos and stuff like that, but it's caused quite a bit of tension. I know of people who are literally planning on storing up food and not going out that entire week, from the 29th of June all the way till the first week of July, because I think it's the 4th of July until the next week. They're not planning on leaving their house. They literally storing up on water, food, everything that they need, because they are afraid that they might get attacked. But these people live in areas where none of these marches have happened. And what's this?
I'm
mainly
and they are an eyewitness. They're an eyewitness on TikTok
on
or
TikTok,
Instagram
and
or
that's what I'm
Facebook.
saying. There's been tension towards and I'm not saying that nothing will happen on June 30, and stuff like that. But I feel
Look,
like
stuff will happen.
yeah,
There's going to be a lot of crime.
yes,
But there'll be a lot of crime on June 29, June 28, July 10.
yeah.
Today there will be a lot of crime. There's
Yeah.
always a lot of people get murdered here every single day.
And yes, maybe there might be some protests. Maybe there might be stuff that happen, especially in CBD, where most of the things protests have happened. But what's this to lock yourself away for a week? and stuff. I really feel like these are coming because of the stuff that have been put on social media, and I feel like there is some sort of agenda in terms of what's being put up on social media and all of these things to kind of use a fear tactic or whatever. And I don't think it's going to work, whatever this agenda is, because I think we've spoken about this on the show a lot of the times, where most South Africans don't have a problem with the foreigners. It's just, yes, the undocumented immigrants that are here, and the whole thing
Well,
with
it's in particular.
the
This is
the
gigs, can I tell you?
Somalis and
Yeah. It's the Somalis, the Pakistanis, the Bangladeshis
yes,
that are hijacking the township economy.
and
This
that's
is
where
this
they
is
have
a
the
huge
with-
issue, and
yeah.
they therefore they're coming and they're hijacking it in using mafia style tactics. And South Africans are not going to keep quiet if you're going to do that to them. And I'm sorry, using this word xenophobia, and that the guys, it's just a tactic to badmouth people. But what the issue is, and what the threat is around June 30, is what March and March are saying, that if the government doesn't do something to their satisfaction by June 30 and start taking action, okay, because you can't just go and just say whatever you want about this. You got to listen to what March and March are actually saying. They're saying they're going to implement a national shutdown. Now, what I do want to say to you is this: if March and March has any of the sort of support that some people say they might have, and the populace decides to shut the economy down, they're going to put the government under such huge pressure. Because that's what a shutdown is. It was a tactic that was used by the ANC and all of the movements that were protesting against apartheid in the 1980s and in the 1990s up until 1994. They would call it a stay away. They'd call it a national shutdown, where everyone downs tools. And they go and they march and they demand that the government take action, and they shut down the economy so that they shut down tax revenue for the government, so that the government is in danger of running out of money. This is what they're threatening. Now, whether they have the power to enforce that, we'll only know July, August. But that is the deadline. It's a deadline set for the government to do something and to start showing we actually care about the people of South Africa. Because at the end of the day, the government is doing everything to hurt the poor in South Africa, and it's not just about the illegal foreigners. The illegal foreigners are one of many issues. But right now, South Africa's in a great amount of danger because we have no border. And there are many nefarious parties on the African continent that will come in here and want to create a civil war. And I believe many of them have come in. And I believe we have many terror cells in South Africa. And, that can cause a future civil war. And the politicians sitting in Parliament and in the union buildings in Pretoria are fully and utterly and totally responsible. They've created a monster, and they need to fix it.
Yeah. And then in Leviticus 19, verse 33 to 34, it says, when a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as a native.
Okay, now, I would mistrust gigs on that verse, but the fact is, I agree with her.
Yes.
All right. And I do want to appeal for any South Africans who happen to watch this program.
Yeah.
Do not get violent. It's not going to help our cause. It's not going to help the cause. Our adversaries are sitting in Parliament. And these guys need to sort out the civil service, and they need to get the government working for the people. It's supposed to be a government for the people, of the people, and by the people. And the other thing also that I'd like to call on South Africans to stand up is to say Home Affairs needs to get the act together.
True.
We need to know who are the real undocumented immigrants.
Yes.
And who are the people that have just been messed around by Home Affairs.
Yes.
Because right now, Home Affairs, and there are a lot of people with real nasty attitudes in Home Affairs. And a lot of people are not getting documentation they should be receiving. And I'm talking about people that were born in South Africa like 20, 30 years ago, are not able to get their documentation sorted out because Home Affairs won't allow them, because Home Affairs doesn't do their job. And you know, at the end of the day, we need to hold the government and we need to hold Home Affairs to account. And we need to hold every single party that is part of the government of national unity to account in this regard. They really need to get their act together. Otherwise, you know, things are just going to continue to deteriorate. And so, you know, don't go and be violent against people. There's a lot of foreigners living in this country. You're going to hurt a lot of South Africans if you hurt them.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of foreigners that are loved by South Africans. There's some of them are married to South Africans. So please remember that. You could be seriously hurting someone's husband, someone's wife, someone's child. And, you know, follow the Bible, follow the Lord, and treat people with the dignity that they deserve, because they were fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of Almighty God.
Yeah. Yeah. This has been a very interesting show. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have anything to add? Do you disagree? Do you agree? We want to know. I'm your girl Cynthia, but you know you can call me Gix. And with me in studio we've had
Gavin Instant.
Pastor Gavin Inslin, right here on The Political Show. On Active FM, where radio has never been better and Christ politics is
Hot politics.
hot politics.
This is The Political Show.